do people think you are? Who do they think Gene Simmons is?
I would say there are some, could be a large number, could not, who think I'm an asshole.
And who are you, for real?
I was born Chaim Vitz, a name given to me, but I'm much bigger than that. I'm really something, and I would recommend everybody to be delusional that way about themselves, because whether you are that or not, your brain helps you get there by being delusional about it.
Everybody, I'm sure, asks you about Cher, and they ask you about Diana Ross, and they want to know about your relationship with Shannon.
Yeah.
But I feel like I also want to know about your mom, though, because I have heard you talk a little bit about your mom, and I kind of feel like you have a soft spot for her for good reason.
Any boy of any age will tell you they're mama's boys, because fathers tragically leave their families. The statistics are staggering and shameful. Mothers stay there until death.
Right. So your father stuck around for how long, and then he left?
My father was a hound, and he had, as far as I knew, either 4 or 5 other wives and other children all over the world. There's even talk of a half-sister somewhere in Paris that I don't know anything about. And he was very active. And I finally met my half-brother and 3 half-sisters by 2 or 3 different other mothers. And yeah, actually, I was afraid of getting married. I'm married. I was afraid of getting married all my life because I didn't want to turn into my father, start kids and everything. And so for a long time, the first 29 years with Shannon, anything you can imagine. I had an appetite, and I just always wanted what I wanted. Men, they compartmentalize. See what I'm doing? On them. No, me. I compartmentalized and thought, well, that was over there. Doesn't affect this. But it does. Everything affects everything. And arrogant, and where are you going? Where am I going? Who wants to know? That sort of thing. On the other hand, take a look at it from the male point of view. You grow up under the roof, if you're lucky, and there's food to eat and everything, and your mother or father are there. But usually the mother, where are you going? And you can't wait to get out from under that roof. And as soon as you get out and you're dateable of that age, you meet a girl, then she asks the same questions. Where are you going? Why are you looking at her? All that stuff. So as soon as you leave the household, females do not want you to wander, because we wander.
So did you know that at the time,
yes,
that this was what was going on? It was about your father. Were you aware of it then?
No. I was not clear enough to be able to verbalize it or sort of connect the feelings and the emotions. But I know what it felt like not to have a father, growing up. There was no father figure. My Uncle George was as close as I got to a reliable sort of father figure. So, and I was an only child with my mother, so you had to sort of figure it out by yourself. And I knew my shortcomings, but I didn't think of them as shortcomings, because in the male culture there's cocksmanship, which is, that guy's got a million chicks and blah blah blah, and that's cool. If women get that, you're a slut. Especially by other women. The harshest critic of women are women. Yeah. So generally speaking, almost exclusively, women are from Mars, men have penis. See what I did there? By the way, the guy that wrote that book...
Yeah, what was his name? Bob Gray or something like that?
Well, the original title was Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, or the other way around. Women are from Venus.
No, I think you got it right.
Yeah, Men Are From Mars. He got divorced and lost all his money. That's true.
He needed a prenup, I guess.
He's not Jewish. We're the people who lawyers, bankers, accountants.
Well, clearly you're smart. Very.
Never claimed to be, but I'm still here.
That's fine, but I mean, you can see.
By the way, you're 12 now, right? How old are you? I just turned 75.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I never thought about anything except I've always had a fear of being poor.
Well, you were poor as a kid, right?
Yeah, we had nothing. I mean, once my father wasn't there, and we were always poor in Israel, which is where I'm from. My mother and my father are Hungarian, and my mother survived the Nazi concentration camps when she was 14, but there was never any money. I remember when we came to America through her brothers, Larry and George, who were successful.
So they came to America before she did?
Before the war.
Okay. And what, they had businesses or something here?
Yes, my Uncle George, her brother, was a very successful, let me get the words right. He made false teeth and false balls. So yes, the guys that got injured or whatever, somebody had to make prosthetic balls. And one of the first jobs I ever had was delivering this stuff in a brown paper bag and taking the subway to dentists and other doctors, and a prosthodontist. So he made a very good living. And my other uncle, Larry Klein, was a baker, owned his own bakery and everything. He'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he showed me how to do it. He'd have these pastry shells around, and he'd have jelly or stuff like that, and he showed me how good he was with a knife, and just kind of flick the stuff, and it would get in there. Real marksmanship. And he would bring over, when, what were they called? Glad bags, those plastic garbage. You don't just throw your garbage in the thing. There's a plastic covering.
Oh, a flap? Is that what you're saying?
No. Whenever you throw something in your garbage pail.
Yeah, the Glad bags.
Plastic. Glad bags.
Glad bags.
Yeah, Glad bags. So when they first came out, my Uncle Larry would bring over Glad bags filled with cheese danishes and jam and all that stuff. And I would stuff myself like a Christmas goose. Just wouldn't even chew it. Just to this day, I just had it. I don't want to talk about it because I feel guilty.
Okay, but
and I swallowed too. And then you die. That's all there is.
Okay, so let's get back to this. So you had 2 entrepreneurial uncles who came here before you and your mom.
I don't think they ever thought of it that way, and neither did I. You came to America to survive,
right,
to be able to feed your families, because where they came from, there weren't jobs, and Europe was in turmoil. So never wanted to get married, because I thought once I got married, I would stray. I'd become my father. So
you didn't feel like you were straying because you weren't married, even though you were in a committed relationship?
We had a prenup, and I was very clear. I don't want children. I don't want to get married. If this is not to your liking, I'll support your decision. No problem. I'll introduce you to other guys that may want to get married. And I said, but warning, men are men.
All right, let's get back to you.
Yeah.
So then you were afraid.
It's easier to talk about somebody else than
So you should know that I'm also a therapist.
Oh, okay.
So I really like to know what your experiences are. And I'm interested in what your ups and downs are. But yeah, your ups and downs in life, how you feel, what you think about, how you grew.
I'm probably delusional, but it helps me not cope. It's an easier life. And I've never, I've heard about people with depression and feeling sad, and I've never been unhappy. I've never been unhappy. When my mother died, I was devastated. That's pretty much it.
Of course you were devastated when your mom...
In a different way than you might imagine.
Oh, how?
I made it... Of course it was that my mother gave me everything, including life itself. I made it personal because men are assholes. I wonder if my mother was proud of me. I wonder if I was as good as I should have been, the I part of it, which women do all the time.
So you struggled with those questions. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and I never got high. I never smoked, never been drunk in my life, which is why I can hold my hand in front of you and it doesn't do, that stuff, for the simple reason that I never wanted to break my mother's heart.
Yeah. It's quite a strong motivation if you are raised that way.
It may be, yes, if you're raised that way. There is nature and there's nurture. The nature of men is to do stupid things because we think, we know we can get away with it.
Was your mom ever disappointed in you?
Not as far as I know.
Not once? You don't remember like one thing where you felt guilty for something that you did?
She was concerned, because my mother was 14 and was hurt. She saw our whole family destroyed in Nazi Germany. And the gas chambers, she saw her mother go with her grandmother, all of it. And she didn't want me to get hurt. And I made sure both my roommates in college were black because I wanted to confront any inner or outward racism I might have. And my mother was concerned, and she said, I don't want you to be, because she grew up, anybody who was different, who was not Jewish and Hungarian, and they were fascists, the Hungarians were fascists anyway. She was concerned. Different people, if they're not Jewish, they're going to try to hurt you and all that. And then I started going out after Cher with Diana Ross, and I wanted to get my mother ready. I said, Mom, I'm seeing this, R&B singer. She's very popular, black, and she's very nice and everything. And I just wanted to ask you, is it okay to bring her over for Passover dinner? And she goes, who is the thick Hungarian accent? How is the orchestra? The band's fine, Mom.
The orchestra.
Yeah.
All right. Last two questions.
I never touched her.
Who do people think you are? Who do they think Gene Simmons is?
I would say there are some, could be a large number, could not, who think I'm an asshole. In fact, I named my second solo album Asshole, which is I thought was akin to black people taking possession of the N-word, and fat people, overweight people, obese people, taking possession of that so that you lessen the impact of that. I'm okay with being labeled or thought of as an asshole because I know who I am. And there are other people who think you only do this for money. And my response is, of course. Why am I not salt of the earth when almost all the jobs on the face of the planet are performed by people who don't like the job they have, and the only reason they're doing that is to be able to earn money to feed their families and put a roof over their head. Only for money. Nobody wants to dig ditches on the highway. Or the building we're in, somebody had to put up. They do that every day. They go to work at the same thing every day, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Join the union or not, and break their backs and never get rich, just to be able to, it's the salt of the earth. Why can't I be salt of the fact that I make more money, but I also give to philanthropy, and by the way, it's none of your fucking business who or what or where. I'm not trying to impress you or not. I know who I am. And maybe that's the best thing to do in life, is to just be comfortable in your own skin, because not everybody likes Jesus either.
And who are you, for real?
I was born Chaim Vitz, a name given to me, but I'm much bigger than that. I'm really something. And I would recommend everybody to be delusional that way about themselves, because whether you are that or not, your brain helps you get there by being delusional about it. Take Mike Tyson, who I know reasonably well, a fascinating human being. I mean, really exceptional. You have to consider that at some point early on in life, he had a bad childhood, bad family life and all that. If it wasn't for Gus raising him and D'Amato and instilling in him and all that, he was shorter than heavyweights. His arms weren't as long as heavyweights. He talks with an interesting voice and has some problem pronouncing certain words, so he's the butt of jokes and everything. Except he decided at some point in his life, early on, before he turned 20, 18, 19, that he was going to be the most dangerous man that ever stepped in the ring. Mindset is the most important thing, regardless. There's no such word as irregardless. Regardless, you're saying there is?
No, I'm saying that's a pet peeve of mine, and thank you for clearing it up.
Double negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's irrespective and regardless combined by mistake.
No such thing. It's regardless of the fact that there was no logic, almost delusional, in saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be the most dangerous man. I'm going to knock out people in 5 seconds. That's exactly what he did. There's such a thing as will to live, will to win. It's the will. Mindset is everything. So I recommend to everybody, be more delusional. Every female that ever put on a stiletto heels or anything, you are hot. You ever wonder how larger black girls have no problem shaking it, showing it off, whereas white girls are concerned if there's 5 more pounds of stuff. What do black girls have that white girls don't have? Strong sense of self. It's what it's all about. And the more they have of that feeling, the sexier they are. You make it real by your mindset. Never pick a fight with a short guy who is smaller than you and lighter than you, who just has the your ass is mine. Don't pick a fight with that guy, because it doesn't matter if you're going to win. You're going to get hurt. Yeah, so it's the will to win is everything. And that's what I have buckets full of. I know. It continues on. I'm more ravenous and hungry to do stuff and achieve more than I've ever been. And I've done pretty well so far.
All right, I talk about mindset a lot. You gave me the perfect example of that, so I thank you.